Good afternoon, and everyone. This is Vinita Sharma from Adgully, and today we have with us a tremendous, experienced industry person with lots of insight, which we all want to know about it. So let's welcome our guest of today, Sanjay sir, which have a total experience and all of interesting insight about cinema. So, sir, let's start with the question. So, I
Yeah,
have gone through your profile, everything, like you are an small encyclopedia of cinema. You know everything, about dialogues and about movies and everything. So first question is, how was your journey throughout, from start till the day?
it's been a very interesting journey right from the beginning. You are talking specifically with respect to Marathi films that I do.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So my journey, I've been in this business now, dealing with Marathi films since the last 20 years. I think into 19 years now. I started in 2003, and we started as a home video publishing. Then we got into aggregation. Then subsequently we progressed into film production, and now we are a full-fledged independent studio. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I have been a part of the Marathi industry, right through the growth period, the growth phases of the industry. So we're in a good space now. I mean, we've done all the hard work, and we're in an interesting space, and we have created an identity of Marathi cinema. We have gained that respect in the industry. And we are doing a lot of mainstream films now. We do about 4 films production wise on an annual basis. We have a library of over 250 titles, which are our aggregation titles. We have won several awards, state awards, as well as national awards for our movies. We have a music label also, where we have a library of over 500-600 songs, which are syndicated all over on all national and international platforms. We have our own YouTube channel, Everest Marathi, which is very popular among the Marathi milieu. So yeah, we're in a happy space now. It's been an interesting journey, and we are scaling up activities as I speak to you. Planning to get into web shows in the Marathi space again.
Okay, sir. So next question is, how is the market right now? Like, what is the content consumption trend is going out in the market?
So the market is very interesting post-pandemic. In fact, post-pandemic, if you see, regional cinema has been received well by the audiences. Any film which is strong in content-driven, takes its time to establish itself at the box office. But yes, I mean, recent case, and there are many regional films which have done well. If you see the recent Rakshit Shetty film in Kannada, which was a content-driven film, it did well. Rocketry is a current example of a content-driven film which opened small and has grown big. That has done well. A lot of Marathi films which have released post-pandemic have done well. Films like Jimma, films like Pawan Kind, films like Chandramukhi. Pawan Kind and Chandramukhi, our company Everest was associated with. We hold the entire electronic media rights, which is the broadcast rights as well as the digital rights of Pawan Kind, as well as Chandramukhi, and even the music of both these films, which have done phenomenally well. Recently, Pawan Kind was also premiered on satellite, and it broke all the ratings. Anyway, coming back to the box office bit. So the box office of Marathi films has been very encouraging since the cinemas resumed in November 2021. And we've had about 6-7 films which have been box office successes, 7-8 of them, and box office successes in terms of numbers, they have been very encouraging. So, I mean, the numbers which I see today post-pandemic, I will not be wrong if I say are better than they were pre-pandemic. So, yeah, I think what has happened is in the last 2 years, a lot of people sitting at home have consumed a lot of regional content, and they are now more open and forthcoming to receiving regional content. They don't mind buying a ticket and seeing a regional films. The audiences that we have in the theaters are not only Marathi audiences today, but we have a lot of different caste and religion audiences watching our films. It's not only the Maharashtrians who are watching the movies. So there's a Gujarati families who are watching it, the Punjabi families who are watching it, everyone's watching them today. It's no more about, being a Hindi film or a Punjabi film or anything. It's a good Indian film people are looking out for.
Right, right.
That's my personal view. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right, sir. Okay, sir. So next thing is your upcoming release is tomorrow, Ananya. So what you find, like, what was the capability of story worth telling on the screen? What you?
So Ananya is a story of a female protagonist who emerges out of a difficult situation. It's a story of a young, happy-go-lucky girl who is studying and giving her exams, planning for her chartered accountancy exams. Suddenly, there is a mishap in her life. She meets with an accident. She loses both her hands. What happens next is very, very interestingly portrayed by the writer Pratap Phad in the film. And Ananya was first a one-act play. It was later on converted into a full-fledged theatre production, a drama, and we have now cinematically adapted it and made a feature film out of it. All the three versions have been directed by the same person. What really attracted me and drew me towards the story was it's a story of a winner. It's not a depressing tale of somebody who's lost, her two limbs. It's a story of how a woman emerges triumphant and, she does everything with her legs. And there is a big novelty factor in it, when you show it on screen, how this woman lead protagonist of ours, who's a popular actress, Ruta Durgule, we're launching her, in fact. She's a popular actress on TV. She's a household name on TV. She's done a lot of television and theater also. So there is a novelty in how she overcomes all these challenges and emerges triumphant, after being dealt with the situations that she has been. So it's a very strong emotional subject, and these kind of subject usually, they start slow, but they find their legs among our audiences. Our audiences are the Marathi audiences like these kind of movies, and they're very well receptive. Plus, these kind of stories, we have plans. Let's see, the film releases tomorrow. We have plans to go multilingual with this. Maybe produce it and make it in different languages as well.
Okay, sir. So, question is how, like, you have been seeing industry from a longer time. So, how is the evolution of cinema is there? And specifically, as Ananya is also a women-centric film, what are your views on like portraying of women in cinema?
So I think cinema, Bollywood industry, or even other industries, they have come of age. There was a time, long time back, where cinemas was the cinema where films were very male dominated. That's no more the case. You have lead female protagonist and big actors in every regional language. The South has its share of names. Bollywood has, the share of Alia Bhatts and the bigger stars today who are a big draws in themselves. In cinema has improved, and specifically with regards to Marathi cinema, there are a lot of women-centric films. We had done a film in 2018, Ami Dogi, starring Mukta Barve, Priya Bapat, which was very, very well received. It was selected at the Indian Panorama as well. Then we're doing this now. And I think even in Hindi, you have the Tapsi Pannus, Yami Gautams, Alia Bhatt, who are really coming, and even, recent case in point was Mimi by Kriti Sanon. So there are a lot of strong women-oriented subjects which are doing well across regional cinema. And Marathi is no exception to it. So, gone are the days where we used to really look at the commercial implications that we need to have a mainstream hero. If your story and your subject is strong, so, I'm happy to produce a women-oriented film. Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, OTT has been a game changer for all the artists, cinema industry, everyone. So, like, we were not knowing the artists till the date, like Pratik Gandhi from regional cinema. There is Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Pankaj Tripathi. Everyone has a tremendous growth on. They have created their own forte in online platforms, OTT platforms. So, what is your take on OTT platforms?
So I'll tell you what, every medium creates their own stars. Okay, box office has you had their own stars. I mean, since I started watching film from the Bachchan era, box office was the only thing. Okay, so box office had their own stars. Then came television. Television, actors are completely. So people used to think earlier that the same actors who are very big on the box office would work on television, but that didn't really happen. Television created their own stars. If you see the industry, the TV industry, they have their own set of stars, who are ruling the roost in daily soaps. Similarly, OTT will have their own stars. There are so many new names, and I'm glad OTT is giving the flexibility to makers to delve in subjects which sometimes are not commercially viable for a theatrical release, but are very, very well received on OTT. So yes, OTT is a very, very good alternative for them. And it was a small alternative, but it is becoming more and more mainstream now with the rising size and numbers of OTT. And yeah, today, I mean, earlier when a script or a subject used to come to us, the only consideration was that, okay, will this film is going to work at the box office? If there is a tick over there, then you go ahead and, dig deeper into it. If not, then we just reject the script and go for something else, which is more commercially viable. But today, if a script comes to us, we have another consideration. Okay, if this cannot work for box office, this probably could be good for OTT. Okay, so unfortunately, cinema worldwide, or I don't know, in India, is defined by box office. That mindset has to change. A good film does not necessarily mean something which does 100 crores or at the box office. A good film is something which is appreciated by everybody, be it the box office, your theater going audiences, or your people who are watching Amazon or Netflix at home. So that mindset has changed now. People are understanding. So you have a certain set of filmmakers who are your box office badshahs. You can call them the Rohit Shettis and all, who make hardcore commercial cinemas. And then you have some directors, who are brilliant for the OTT medium. Absolutely, they're good storytellers, but ideal for a medium like a Netflix or an Amazon. So it's interesting. OTT has exposed people to a lot of world cinema, educated people about what good cinema is, and as a result, you see, there is a vast difference in the way films are being received at the box office, because the audiences suddenly in these last 2 years, with the massive consumption of OTT that they have done, have become so much more educated and selective and choosy. So the films which are working at the box office are either really strong movies, or basically which are more youth appealing, like the Bhul Bhulayas of the world.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So, along with your like filmmaking journey and everything, who were your icons from the earliest? You feel like, okay, this director is this work is excellent. It is. I can inspire with this work. Who are your icons till the day from the film industries?
Directors, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Directors from which industry you're asking? Specifically, any industry, Bollywood or in general?
Yeah.
So Bollywood, of course, everybody loves Rajkumar Hirani, but I personally like a lot of. I like the Zoya Akhtar films. I like the Gauri Shinde films. I mean, she's made two fabulous films in English to English. Was a lovely film. It was a good blend of sensible filmmaking as well as commercial filmmaking. Correct. Then there are some fabulous directors. I mean, I'm not getting offhand names, but there are a bunch of talented directors. In the Marathi space now, Pratap Phad, whom we are giving a break to, is a brilliant director. Then there are many directors in the space. Abhijit Deshpande is a good director in the Marathi space.
And if related to world cinema, if we go to the western side, any director of your thought?
Director of my choice, world cinema. World cinema, I like. I don't remember the names of the guys now. See, one of my absolute favorite is Clint Eastwood. The man is, he's directed some great films, and across genres. I'm not a guy who's very heavy or high on the Marvels or the VFX kind of movies. I like human dramas more. So Clint Eastwood has produced some directed some brilliant human dramas. Then another favorite director of mine is, there are so many. Clint Eastwood is one. Then there is, of course, who's that guy?
You can tell about the film or the project, so we can recognize the director.
So, Erin Brockovich is one of my favorite movies. Jerry Maguire is one of my favorite movies. Then you have your Road to Perdition and American Beauty, the guy who directed them. Sam Mendes, he's one of my favorite directors. Then, among the action, now Sam Mendes has also directed a couple of Bond films, which did very, very well. So, he's a great director. And then you have your the guy who had directed this Ford versus Ferrari was one of my recent films which I saw. I loved that movie, absolutely. So these are the kind of movies I like. There was another film called The Green. What was it called? The Green Book. The Green Book was a lovely film which I saw a couple of years. I think it's a 3 or 4 year old movie. And I don't remember the name of the directors, but these are some lovely films, gems in Hollywood.
Okay, sir. So last and final question, what are your advice to upcoming filmmakers? Like what kind of stereotypical they can break in Indian cinema, or they can excel in that field? What advice you would like to give to the filmmakers?
Advice I would give to the filmmakers is basically, get your writing correct. Spend as much as time you want in making, multiple drafts of your story, and, don't rush into production, which is the case with many aspiring directors I've seen. They immediately rushed into production without really working hard on the script. And I think another thing, what most people should practice, be directors or production houses, is once you have a script ready, you necessarily, okay, you have the conviction, fine, but there is no harm in getting into marketing and research, and getting your script vetted by research agencies, and understand your market and see how well get so you have the sorry yeah. So basically focus on writing, and also simultaneously have some processes like getting them researched and to understand the viability, and to understand the fit, the natural fit, box office or OTT, for the stories that they have. It will save a lot of heartburn later.
So apart from Ananya, what are your upcoming projects?
So apart from Ananya, we have about 5 more projects which are currently in various stages of production. The next film which is ready, in fact, is Boys 3. Boys is a franchise which we have. We have released the first and the second part. That releases on the 16th of September. Then we have a film which is in post-production stage. It's called Autograph. That releases on 30th of December this year. That's a remake of a Tamil film by the same name, Autograph. Then we have another film which is a romantic rom-com. It's a rom-com which is a remake of a Tamil film again. That releases on Valentine's in 2023 on the 10th of Feb. And I have a film which is a biopic. We haven't finalized the title yet, on a singer-poet, which releases next year on Maharashtra Day. 28th of April is the date that we have locked. Plus, we are working on a lot of. We have our another franchise we have is Mumbai Pune Mumbai, which is, we have already made 3 installments of that. So next year we'll also be coming with the 4th franchise film of MPM4. So we'll have about 3 films now and about 4 films in 2023. Yeah, we have a busy year.
I will be really excited for Mumbai Pune Mumbai.
You've seen it?
Yeah,
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite Maharashtra.
Yeah, we'll start.
I have no. So I have a lot of like regional cinemas I adore the most, because realistic
Yeah.
produced.
So MPM4 we are planning, and we are also planning to do the second part of Coffee Ani Barachkai.
Yeah.
Coffee Ani
Okay.
Barachkai was done by us in 2013, I think. So we want to, you know, take that story forward also. Working on that as well. Plus, we have our film, our iconic film, My First Production, Me Shivaji Raji Bhosle Bolte Hai, also toying with the idea of doing a sequel
Oh.
to it.
All my favorite movie list is going on right now. Wow.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. So this was for it. This was my question, and we will collaborate for more movies soon. And I hope you will produce such kind of movies which are my favorite.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.